William?
I can see William, yes. Here they are. Just listen to the cheers from the crowds. Prince William beaming, the Duchess smiling broadly as well, looking very, very well. I remember last time when she came out with Prince George, she looked rather tired. She looks incredibly well, doesn't she, for giving birth just a few hours ago.
Yeah, amazingly. I mean, what is it? Calculate how many hours it is since. And the baby sleeping. Absolutely.
I was just about to say the baby calm, appears to be asleep.
Yeah.
Wrapped in a shawl with a little bonnet. The couple taking time to wave to the media, to well-wishers. This, the little girl who is fourth in line to the throne. We wait to hear her name.
And both looking so happy, aren't they?
And very relaxed, very relaxed. They've done it all before.
Occasion, yeah. Waving, as you can see. We're trying to encourage them to come over towards the microphones. Oh dear, they're going back in. What does that mean? Perhaps that is to just make some final farewells. No sign of the vehicles pulling forward just yet. So
no, they released a statement, Nicholas, didn't they? Just thanking the hospital staff, so maybe going in to say a few final thank yous and goodbyes before they depart for Kensington Palace.
yes, that's, I suspect, what is happening now. The vehicles have pulled forward, though either side of the door. It'll be interesting to see whether William drives himself once again. The protection officer driving the first vehicle has stepped out of the driving seat, so maybe William will drive once again. Yeah, some final business perhaps to do in there. I can't imagine it's to collect their luggage. They'll have people to do that for them. But some final... I mean, on the last occasion, lots of hospital staff came out and lined the steps and were on either side of the Lindo Wing. We're not seeing that tonight. It's much more informal on this occasion.
Yes, they talked about trying to keep this more informal, more low-key.
And quicker, I think, is also the key thing here, to try and keep it as quick as possible, to get away and not get caught by us lot.
I'm not sure in terms of the media gathered here that one could describe this as low-key, but it's all relative, isn't it, Nicholas?
Well, it's somewhat more different to last time, and I think they just want to get away. I mean, I think the fact that they've come out within just these few hours, really, of having given birth, and that they are clearly not having visitors here apart from George, as happened last time. You remember the Middletons visited, Prince Charles, and Camilla visited within hours of the birth, and she had that one night in the hospital before then heading for home. But yeah, they want to get away. It's a bank holiday. I think it's very important to them to get this over with as much as possible, for their sake and for the sake of everybody else, for the people in the hospital, for the other patients. Let's not forget, this is a functioning maternity unit. There are lots of other people, mothers having their babies in there, and I think that is important to them, to just close this down as quickly as possible, to get home, to see George back at Kensington Palace, and then to pick up their lives as a foursome.
And they did look, just commenting on their appearance, they did look incredibly relaxed. The Duchess was looking very well. There were rumours earlier that her hairdresser had arrived at the hospital, which gave us a chance to put two and two together and conclude that perhaps she was preparing for a moment where she would leave today and come out onto those steps and face the television cameras and photographers. But she certainly looked very relaxed and very confident, I think.
Yes, she did. Yes. And, well, you'll know more about how her hair looked than I would, but it certainly, she looked very smart, as she always does, very groomed for a public appearance, for someone who has just given birth within the last, 10 hours. So remarkable from that extent. And the thing that struck me was how it's rather silly to say how small this newborn baby was, 8 pounds 3 ounces, but how reposed, I suppose, is the word that one might use. How fortunate, just sleeping, unaware, obviously, of the significance of this first appearance by this baby child, the rest of whose life will be spent in one way or another in the public eye. And that is, when you think about it, the really rather awesome thing that that child will never be able to escape from the attention that inevitably will focus. Here we go again. That will focus up.
And yes, here they come again. Baby safely stowed in car seat. How are you feeling? Sir, how are you feeling? I don't think they're going to speak, Nicholas, to you. The Prince is rather busy getting his new daughter carefully placed in the car. And as last time with Prince George, he is taking charge of driving his wife and the new addition to the family back to Kensington Palace. I'm just trying to duck out of the way of the camera as we get that shot for you. And they will be hoping that that satisfies the appetite of the media for a little while at least.
Yeah, I think we were expecting a few words. I mean, we were asked to put a microphone out there, which does sort of hint that there was an expectation that he might have said something. I thought he might, after having put their daughter in the vehicle, he might have then come over just to say something. But no, I think that the message there was, we just want to get away, get home. There was not any inclination there to stop and to talk. They've said their goodbyes, offered their gratitude, and that's it. They're away home.
Tell us a little bit about what happens next. We mentioned, of course, Kensington Palace for a few days, then off to their home in Norfolk.
Yes, I think that will be their priority, to get home to Kensington Palace very briefly, and then back to this home in Norfolk and the hall that has been refurbished, renovated for them, and which will be their base, their family home now. As you've been mentioning, he is now this fully qualified air ambulance pilot. He will be taking up full-time duties quite soon, so that is where they will be heading as soon as they can.
Nicholas, thank you very much for your thoughts. Nicholas Witchell, of course, adding his observations to the events of the day. Just seeing in the last few moments the new royal baby fast asleep in the arms of her mother, appearing on the steps of the Lindo Wing, and then going back inside, and then a few moments later being brought out by her father, Prince William, to be driven away to Kensington Palace. And we can cross to Kensington Palace now. Sarah Campbell is there, and Sarah, it's just a short drive, isn't it? So you should see those vehicles, the first one carrying the new royal baby, with you very soon.
Absolutely. We saw from the journey that Prince William took earlier on this afternoon to pick up Prince George and take him back to the Lindo Wing. It was a journey which took him less than 10 minutes, so we would expect that convoy of cars to arrive very shortly. Of course, they will be taking an entrance around the back, where the media have been asked to film live broadcasts is out the front. This is the public area. Kensington Palace Gardens, of course, open to the public, but apartment 1A, which is the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's home here in London, is round the back. It's out of view of the public behind high walls, because as you've been hearing from Nick Witchell and the other royal correspondents, their greatest value is that of privacy, of being able to bring up their new daughter the same way that they've been able to with Prince George, which is privately, which is behind closed doors, allowing them as normal a childhood as possible. And there they are, travelling through the streets of London on their way to Kensington Palace, which, as I say, is only a few minutes' drive, really, from the hospital.
And Sarah, like many couples with a new baby, I understand they've been relying on some support from grandparents. I understand that certainly Carol Middleton, the Duchess's mother, is thought to be at Kensington Palace looking after Prince George.
Yes, that's right. And we know that the Middleton grandparents have been a huge part of Prince George's life. Of course, Prince George was the first place that he went to their home when he was born, their home in Bucklebury. We know that Prince George is seen out and about near their home. We know that they look after him a lot. And we know, as you say, that we believe that they're here at Kensington Palace. And again, that will be something that the Duke and Duchess would have been keen to have, some sort of normality for Prince William, because as for any toddler, any older sibling, his life is going to be rather thrown into chaos at the moment with this younger sibling, this little sister that he is going to have to get used to. And he's going to get used to that here in apartment 1A at Kensington Palace. We expect that they will be here for 1, maybe 2 days, and then they will travel up to Norfolk to their home. Of course, we know that Prince William will be starting his job shortly with the air ambulance, and that is where they will be based in Anwar Hall. But for the moment, it's here at Kensington Palace. And of course, last time with Prince George's birth, we had photos, because the couple stayed at the hospital longer. We saw the grandparents, we saw Carol and Michael arrive, we saw the Prince of Wales and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. We saw them arrive at the hospital. We didn't see that this time, so we would expect that those family moments will be kept very personal here at Kensington Palace. And of course, the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, the new princess's great-grandmother, we would expect that introduction to be made here again at Kensington Palace. So all eyes very much moving now. I can hear the helicopter above me, right above me, so I assume that the convoy of cars must be very close by now here at Kensington Palace.
And Sarah, the Duke and Duchess, of course, hoping for some precious days of privacy at Kensington Palace and some more privacy in the weeks and months ahead in Norfolk, because for much of this little baby's life, of course, it will be